remarks were as follows, word for word. Dr. Strangers, if you value your reputation, you will not repeat anything that took place with you at the Pentagon this past Thursday morning. I said, what took place? What are you talking about? What took place? Believe me, at that time I wasn't about to tell anybody. But he said, I heard about people like this. Oh, I'm talking about picking your pocket. Where was I? The two guys identified themselves as Air Force intelligence. They didn't look too intelligent, I'm sorry to say. At first I thought they were from the CIA. You know what that organization is? That's the Confusion in Action Group. But then I thought they were FBI. That's the Fraternal Brotherhood of Italians. No, that wasn't them either. So anyhow, I said, okay. I didn't say a word about this experience to anyone, but I wrote a book on it. When I went back to Brooklyn, New York to be with my dad, my mom, my dad greets me at the front door, and he was from Italy, so was Mom. I lost both of them a few years ago, one at 94 and one at 93. My dad looks at me and says, oh, Frank, I'm going to pray for you. First you come here with the flying sausages. I said, no, Dad, sausage. And now you come with a man from another world. Oh, Mamma mia, I'm going to pray for you. And he did. He prayed for me. One day, after the commander said he'd meet me in 1 year, 1 year to the day, March 16th, at 8 o'clock in the morning, a voice comes out of the back of my car in Beverly Hills. I was driving to have a meeting with an attorney. He said, hello, Frank, how are you? I nearly ran a red light. It was the commander. I said, why can't you just come in the front seat? Which he did later. And we had wonderful fellowship and communion from that day to this day. I was invited to visit Victor 1, that beautiful spacecraft of his, in a place called San Felipe down in Mexico. And my meeting on board that was at his invitation because he wanted me to come down to meet with him on board the craft, my first visit, for a specific reason. Back up 3 days. My phone rings. A man on the telephone says, this is Robert Kennedy. I'd like to talk to you. I said, this is who? I said, are you some kind of wise guy? And then all of a sudden I was convinced it was Robert Kennedy. He said, what, is this all this stuff about this guy from another planet? Is this real or is this a bunch of crap? I said, no, it's no crap, I'm sorry to tell you. I'm happy to tell you, I mean. And he said, I want to see you. I said, fine. Why don't you come right over to my office? I understand you're on the East Coast. Come on and visit with me. He said, okay, and he hung up. 2 days later, this big black limousine flanked by highway patrol officers pulls into my street. My neighbor's looking through the curtain. Boy, they got Frank now. And who's in there but Mr. Kennedy and his aides? They came in, no handshake, no greeting, just cold as I don't think I've ever met such a cold person. He said to me, all right, now let's have the lowdown on this guy from, I said, don't call him a guy. I said, his name is Commander Valiant Thor. He said, all right, be that as it may. He said, I want to ask him 2 questions. I said, yes, continue. What are these questions, may I ask? He said, I want to ask him, number 1, who the hell really killed my brother? And number 2, I'm running for the presidency this year. What are my chances? I said, okay, well, you write those questions down. You can write these questions. He said, I don't write. I said, well, this conversation is closed then, big shot. But he finally condescended, went into my office, wrote up the questions, gave me the envelope. He said, make sure he gets these now. I said, okay. No goodbye, no drop dead, nothing. He just left. And then I was invited by the commander to meet him at the airport in San Diego. He met me with a car. We drove to San Felipe, way down south, south of Tijuana. And I saw this spacecraft sitting on the water, as you'll see in the poster that you're going to receive today. I was taken by boat with the commander to the ship. I'm speaking as quickly as possible now about this. And here we are sitting in the ship. He said, now you go through that room, take all your clothes off, your shoes, everything off, walk through that outfit, and at the other end of the room, you'll be given a white coverall and boots, very similar to the one I showed you at the Pentagon. The one he showed me at the Pentagon was all one piece. He ran his hand, after putting the two pieces of garments together, ran his hand up to his neck. I could not find the opening. They just fused together. And then he said at the Pentagon, he said, this is the outfit that your government has been testing for quite a long time. He said they gave it the acid test. The acid rolled off and cut a hole in the floor. They fired shots at it, no penetration whatsoever. They even tried the experimental laser at that time. He said it didn't even warm the surface. Sometime later, after my book was published, Stranger of the Pentagon, I appeared on the Art Linkletter show, and when I told about this garment, you have no idea how many calls I got from the garment industry in New York. So, here we are on the ship. I'm introduced to the commander's wife. His name is Dina. His daughter's name is Valdina. Isn't that a beautiful combination? And I met Vice Commander Don, who comes to my office quite often, and this beautiful young lady, Teal, red hair, green eyes, beautiful complexion. And I'm sitting in this kind of a living room and exchanging conversation with them, very beautiful people. And they make you feel at home. And those of you, like some who belong to our organization, the National Investigations Committee, and those who attend our meeting, the Inner Circle, which some of you are here today, they have actually had the privilege of going on board Victor I and enjoying the pleasures of that ship, which is now parked at the edge of Lake Mead in Nevada. And here we are sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden, I have to go to the bathroom. Well, that was not too unusual, because I go to the bathroom once in a while. And then I'm wondering what's going to happen next, because I don't voice that I have to go to the bathroom. Vice Commander Teal says, Dr. Frank, go and stand in front of that door there. It'll slide to one side, you know. And I did. And I went inside that beautifully appointed bathroom. The door slid shut behind me. I sat down. I took care of my business. And when I was finished, I nearly had a seizure. I could not find any toilet paper. I said, oh my God. I prayed in English, I prayed in Italian, Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, Korean. I couldn't find it. Finally, in my mind, I hear the voice of Vice Commander Teal. She says, honey, oh boy, do you see those three buttons to your right? I said, yes. She said, press the top button first, the second one down, press that, and then finally press the third one. Well, before I pressed that, I didn't know whether I was going to be ejected and dipped in the ocean or what. But I pressed it. I said, thank you, Lord. And a blast of hot air. I thought I was going to go flying to the ceiling. And after that come down, I pushed the second one. That was about half speed. And by the time I got to the third button, I felt powdered and changed like a little baby. I got up, got into my coveralls again, walked out, the door shut behind me, I sat down. No one said a word. The Vice Commander Teal said, did everything come out all right? I said, yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, we've had fantastic information come from the commander, which is in our monthly newsletter called the Space Link. We also have applications on my table. The Space Link comes out once a month. He gives us information which we pass on to our membership. He gives them a personal message from month to month. And some people, when they read the message, they say, "How did he know that?" Well, you'd be surprised what they know. Now, before I leave this story, we're having an inner circle meeting on the 3rd and 4th of next month, of June, at the Rio Hotel in Las Vegas. That'll be our 29th meeting of the Inner Circle. I'm sorry to say the Inner Circle membership is not for everyone, only those that are spiritually advanced to appreciate the spiritual teachings that are given by the commander. If you're interested in that, take one of those brochures out there, the information, contact me. There still may be time for you to attend. Will someone come up and erase this white section, please? Because I'm going to go right into the slides.
So what happened with Robert Kennedy's question?
With Robert Kennedy, the reason he invited me to the spacecraft was to see something awful. We were sitting in this living room. He said, "Please follow me." We went into a special room that had a wide screen that looked like a 3D presentation. The lights came on. The scene was the back portion of the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Bobby Kennedy is walking along, Rosie Greer right behind him, several hundreds of people packing in that room. And suddenly, shots ring out. And Bobby Kennedy went down. I looked at the commander. He had tears in his eyes. He said, "I gave this man the information he wanted, but he didn't follow my advice." I told him, "Don't go anywhere near the election this year. Try it in 4 years, and you'll probably win." But how many times have you known of people who you've given advice to and they don't take your advice, and they have to suffer the consequences? And I'll say one more thing. Sirhan Sirhan is sitting in prison for something he didn't do. If you want to know who really shot him, you talk to me privately. I said to Val, "Who was responsible for the shooting of the President of the United States?" And he told him was I'm not allowed to say that in public, but I'll tell you privately if you ask me later. So that was a very sad incident that overshadowed my first visit to the beautiful Victor 1. Make sure you get yourself a copy of that outside. All right, quickly now, this is the Andromeda Galaxy. Some months ago, I was invited to one of our churches in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I was privileged to see the largest telescope in the world. I met with some SETI people, and they said, "We've been receiving strange signals from out of the Andromeda Galaxy for many years, but we, after deciphering them, were not allowed to give the information to the public. We were forbidden because we know who signs our checks." I said, "That's fine. Thank you very much." Here's the planet what? Earth. Right down there is the Outrigger Hotel, someplace around there. So this is as it's seen from space. This is a picture taken in New Mexico by Paul Villa some years ago. As this craft came closer to the ground, you can see it opened, the shell on top open, revealing a set of porthole windows. There it is, as it started leaving the area. Now this is on the right shoulder, this UFO up here, on the right shoulder of this picture here, which is hanging at the Sistine Chapel in Rome. Unusual. This is a craft that came down in Australia some years ago, and oddly enough, about 30 days after, all these sheep who ate the grass where the ship had landed died, reasons unknown. This is upside down. Nevertheless, it was taken in Riverside, California. There it is again, taken by Dr. Daniel Fry. This is a close-up of one of the famous pictures that was allegedly taken by who knows who? Who?
Billy Myers.
Right, Billy Myers. I have had experts look at some of these pictures in Japan, the negatives, and the information we got back is that these pictures are absolutely 100% true. comes out of the back of my car in Beverly Hills. I was driving to have a meeting with an attorney. He said, "Hello, Frank, how are you?" I nearly ran a red light. It was the commander. I said, "Why can't you just come in the front seat?" Which he did later. And we had wonderful fellowship and communion from that day to this day. I was invited to visit Victor 1, that beautiful spacecraft of his, in a place called San Felipe down in Mexico. And my meeting on board one at 93. My dad looks at me and says, "Oh, Frank, I'm going to pray for you. First you come here with the flying sausages." I said, "No, Dad, sausage. And now you come with a man from another world. Oh, Mamma mia, I'm going to pray for you." And he did. He prayed for me. One day, after the commander said he'd meet me in 1 year to the day, March 16th, at 8 o'clock in the morning, a voice comes. Boy, talk about picking your pocket. Where was I? The two guys identified themselves as Air Force intelligence. They didn't look too intelligent, I'm sorry to say. At first I thought they were from the CIA. You know what that organization is? That's the Confusion in Action Group. But then I thought they were FBI. That's the Fraternal Brotherhood of Italians. No, that wasn't them either. So anyhow, I said, "Okay." I didn't say a word about this experience to anyone, but I wrote a book on it. When I went back to Brooklyn, New York to be with my dad, my mom, my dad greets me at the front door, and he was from Italy, so was Mom. I lost both of them a few years ago, one at 94. Remarks were as follows, word for word. "Dr. Strangers, if you value your reputation, you will not repeat anything that took place with you at the Pentagon this past Thursday morning." I said, "What took place? What are you talking about? What took place?" Believe me, at that time I wasn't about to tell anybody. But he said, I heard about people like this.